This is Madman Review, and here's my pick of the most reliable handguns you can carry for self-defense. This is a quite important topic as you want to know that your carry gun goes bang when it's the worst moment of your life, and you have to use it. When it comes to handguns, we can talk about revolvers and autoloaders. Revolvers have been known to be very reliable, even if there are some saying otherwise. That does not mean that revolvers do not experience any malfunctions. But there's a lot of things that can go wrong that revolvers just do not have. There's generally no safety to disengage, no magazine to load, no slide to rack, no ejection that might fail, and so on and so on. Also, if you do get a dud, pull the trigger again and shoot the round in the next chamber. Autoloaders, on the other hand, while they're very reliable nowadays, have some more failure points. Granted, these failures are relatively easy to deal with. You forgot to chamber a round? Rack the slide. Apart from that, you want to carry a gun that does reliably feed new rounds, eject spent cases, and always does what it is supposed to do. For this reason, we will not dive into the world of revolvers, but instead focus on autoloaders. Without further ado, here are the 5 most reliable handguns you can carry. Number 5, the Browning High Power. This gun is a real classic. It has begun its service in 1935 and became adopted by over 50 countries. In fact, it's still in service today. That alone shows how much this gun is loved and relied upon by its users. It is the granddaddy of every double-stack autoloader you see today, predating the Black Wonder 9s, the polymer high-capacity pistols of today. It is chambered in 9x19mm, 7 6.55x21mm, and 40 Smith & Wesson. The capacity starts at 10 rounds in the magazine plus 1 in the chamber and goes all the way up to 30 plus 1 rounds for the 9mm version. The Browning High Power served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and even in the War on Terror. It's loved by everyone who got his hand on it, and there are some good reasons for it. Besides its high capacity, it is very ergonomic, very accurate, and absolutely reliable. Number 4, the CZ75. The CZ75 is one of the most reliable guns out there. Here, reliability reaches a whole new level. When you have an autoloader, it is the round that cycles the action. Every time you shoot, the recoil pushes the slide back, ejects the spent round, chambers a new one. That system is as easy as it is simple, but it has one drawback. To function properly, the round and the spring must both exert a force that is tuned to each other. Why? If the round is too strong or the spring is too weak, the slide moves so fast that there might be a failure to feed, as the slide moves already forward before the next round and the mag can come up. If it moves too slow, you might get a failure to eject or to feed, as the slide maybe does not move all the way or with too little force. Either way, the result is an unreliable gun. To avoid this, you should keep the power level of your rounds within the window in which your gun works best. If you have the CZ75, you don't need to sweat or experiment. The gun just feeds and ejects everything flawlessly, from underpowered hand loads all the way to really hot-loaded rounds. Just make sure it's 9mm, and your pistol will not only fire it, but also run the action as smooth as it can get. Being hammer-fired, you get a second strike capability. This means if you got a light primer strike and the round does not go off, just pull the trigger again. This time, it most probably goes bang. Also, the gun can take adverse conditions and still fire accurately. You can see that also in the fact that this gun has been adopted by militaries and law enforcement all over the world as well. This gun you can carry with confidence. Whenever you call on it to defend yourself, it will do its work as always. It comes with a steel frame, but there's also polymer versions out there. The capacity is from 10 to 26 plus 1 depending on the version, jurisdiction, and magazine. Number 3, the HK-USP. The HK-USP has a reputation for reliability. It was adopted by the German military and several other services around the world. It comes with a capacity of 15 plus 1. You can have it in the calibers in 9x19mm, 357 SIG, 40 Smith & Wesson, and 45 ACP. What makes this gun even more interesting is that it comes with a mechanical recoil reduction system. This consists of a relatively small spring that is located inside the main recoil spring. While the main goal of the system is to reduce the wear on the whole gun when firing, it also lowers the recoil you feel. Being simple as it is, the system does not use any hydraulic damper, and thereby does not need any kind of special maintenance. The gun was tested firing more than 20,000 rounds of 40 Smith & Wesson without experiencing any component failure. Other tests were made in different temperature. It was immersed in water, put into mud, and sprayed with salt. There was even a test in which a bullet was put into the barrel, blocking it completely. Then another round was fired through this barrel that not only cleared the obstruction, but also kept the gun able to fire with the same accuracy as before the test. Number 2. Sig Sauer P226. The P226 was the entry, or Sig Sauer, for the XM9 service pistol trials. It had to face the entry of Beretta and lost. However, interesting to see why it lost. It was not because of any problem with the gun itself. It completely fulfilled all requirements. What kept it from being number 1 was the simple fact that it would cost a little bit more than its competitor. It is a hammer-fire double-action handgun. This allows you to carry it with the hammer down and accept a long trigger pull for the first shot. All subsequent shots would have a short trigger pull as the slide would cock the hammer. While it did not win the service pistol trial, it did get into the military. Special Operation Forces, including Navy SEALs, opted for this gun and have been using it since the 1980s. Their reviews of this weapon have been very good, so that it continues to soldier on. Number 1. The Glock. Now, you are thinking, which Glock does he mean? No matter which one, all Glocks stand for accuracy and reliability. Also, they are very ergonomic, easy to handle, and there's a ton of aftermarket support. Best is there are many different variants. You can get them from full size to subcompact, and in many calibers, including 9mm and 40 Smith & Wesson. This gives you a maximum of choices. The Glock was the gun that started it all. It was the first successful Wonder 9, a polymer striker-fired 9mm pistol with a high-capacity magazine. Its success is no coincidence. It is not only accurate and reliable, but also lightweight, super ergonomic, and there is not much you can do wrong with it. Even taking it apart and cleaning it is a rather intuitive process. Now, as a plastic gun, you might be tempted worrying about breaking it, but it is super tough. Law enforcement agencies and militaries all around the world have adopted it. It's only natural that this convinced civilian shooters as well that many concealed carry permit holders now have one of them on their person all the time. With this gun, you can be sure that it goes bang every time it is needed. Okay, to be clear, that is not the only gun that does it, but it definitely was the first polymer one. That alone makes it stand out. These are my picks for the most reliable guns in the market. These are by no means all reliable guns, as most of the available firearms nowadays are pretty reliable. So why this video? Because being very reliable is sometimes not enough. The one or the other might like to go above and beyond to make sure he has a functioning gun in his hand when push comes to shove. With the 5 guns of this list, you cannot go wrong.